the truth? Are we being told the truth? Do you like politics? Well, welcome to the political show only on Active FM.
Hey, and welcome to the political show right here on Active FM, where radio has never been better. I am your girl Cynthia, but you know you can call me Gigs, and with me in studio we've got
Gavin Inston.
Pastor Gavin Inston. Like I said, this is the political show, and politics is not just in the people that you see speaking on your TV. Politics can also be in stuff like social media and whatever else is happening in the world around you. So that is what we are here to give you. The
Politics can also be when a man is married and his mother-in-law doesn't like him.
Yes.
That's political.
Yes, that is very political. Like seriously, I think they even made a movie out of it, called Monster-in-Law. I don't know.
Monster-in-law.
Yeah. That's what I think that's the movie called.
Okay, I'm glad I never had a monster-in-law.
It was a chick flick.
I had a very good mother-in-law.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But
stories.
she always used to take my side against my wife.
Yeah.
So when I lost her,
yeah,
then my father always takes my wife's side.
Lol.
So I lost my backer.
Oh, shame, man.
Yes. That's quite terrible.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a monster-in-law.
No. I pray I don't get a... Well, I won't get a monster-in-law. I know that I won't get a monster-in-law.
Just so I know, a wife and a mother-in-law. I think that can be 10 times more politics.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, that's some hectic politics. It's worse than normal politics.
It's getting close to the EFF.
Sure, that's great. Lol, okay. I guess that's a show for the movie show to, discuss the politics of Monster-in-Law. I'm joking. You don't have to.
No, do it.
Do a show on Monster-in-Law. Well, it's a chick flick. I wouldn't want to punish Ryan in watching a chick flick.
No, punish him.
Okay, Ryan and Sash from the movie show, I hope you're listening to this because it's quite...
If not, why the hell aren't you? We listen to the movie show.
Okay, so we are speaking about, like I said, it's a politics show and we go through different politics, and for the last 2 weeks we've been speaking social media. Last week, you can go listen to the last week's show where we went through different social media platforms. So we went through the top 7 social media platforms, and then we went through social media platforms that we haven't heard about, and 2 social media platforms we haven't heard about. Now this week we are talking about YouTube and YouTube alternatives. Do you want to tell us more about YouTube and what YouTube actually is?
Well, YouTube, if you just look at the tool, obviously it came, I don't know, somewhere 2003, 2005.
Yeah.
And it was this platform that people could go and post their videos on, and so it just took off.
Yeah.
It wasn't too long and everyone was watching videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it exploded and everyone was using YouTube, which gives them that power because now they've got all of this content. And then what started happening is that they started saying, right, there's certain kind of speech that are allowed. So they started censoring what people could say, and they started saying, no, this doesn't go with our community guidelines and all sorts of stuff. And basically a lot of the people that have Christian views started getting their videos taken down, their channels demonetized, because on YouTube as well, if your channel gets enough subscribers and you get enough viewers, then you can monetize the channel. That's when YouTube will actually put an advert on.
Yeah.
So when the YouTube puts an advert on your video, whatever money comes in from that advertising, you get some of that money.
Yeah.
So the YouTube would then demonetize those channels and say, right, you can't say this, you can't say that, and you can't say the next thing. And therefore now you've got a lot of people that are looking for alternatives to YouTube.
Yeah.
And I've been praying for one to come up.
Yeah.
We haven't got there yet, but I'm praying for one to come up.
Yeah. One that is as major as YouTube, that people will actually go and view the truth and stuff. So that's what we're going to be speaking about today. We are speaking about YouTube alternatives. If you don't know what YouTube is, I don't know what rock you've been hiding under, because everybody, especially this year, a lot of people have started YouTube channels. The funniest story I've heard, though, of a couple starting a YouTube channel. So they're an interracial couple, and it's a big thing now on social media, being an interracial couple. And these people literally met on Instagram, so they never saw each other ever. Then they met on Instagram, and then a lockdown happened in South Africa, So they only met like face-to-face level 3 lockdown, and then they started a YouTube channel after that. So basically an interracial YouTube channel. And then another crazy YouTube channel I know is this lady literally just eats. Yeah, that's her channel. It's videos of her eating, trying out different meals. But someone cooks or she orders food from a specific restaurant and then she eats. For a whole 30 minutes you're watching a person eat. So there's like crazy YouTube channels.
People actually watch it.
Yeah, people actually watch those things. When I find myself on YouTube, I'm usually watching stuff like The Situation Room,
yes,
The Sibs. It's very funny. What's this?
It was funny this week, eh?
This week. No, I didn't watch Tuesday.
You must watch. It's got to do with makeup.
Makeover. I saw the heading. My YouTube
the imperfect makeup.
My YouTube reminded me of it.
Yes.
My favorite one though was the one that they had to draw. The art one where they had to draw different things. Yeah, that was my favorite one. Yeah. Oh well, yeah. So, and then there's things like random art. So there's a whole lot of videos that are quite interesting that you can find on YouTube, and then there's those ones where it's like conspiracies, and there's just a whole lot of crazy videos as well on YouTube. But one thing we know for sure is that YouTube censors their content and stuff.
Yes.
So because of that, people are looking for alternatives, and we're going to speak about 3 major alternatives that we know of right now, but they aren't at the level of YouTube yet. So stay tuned. It's going to be a really hot show. Like I said, this is the political show right here on Active FM, where radio has never been better.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Active FM. Hot presenters,
the best topics, the most entertaining presenters, everything you could ever want in radio.
We're lifting Jesus up, we're lifting Jesus up, we're lifting.
Radio has never been better.
Okay, so like I said, we are speaking about YouTube alternatives. Now, for instance, we came across an issue where something was posted on the Situation Room on YouTube and it was actually taken down because of the censorship with the YouTube and stuff. And we've also had situations where our subscribers have actually gone up, and for some the next day, so at one point it was 850, then the next day it was 848. Did you say 848?
No, it went 850, 851. I put a post on Instagram, we've made 850.
Yeah.
And the next day I check, it's 849.
Yeah. So we've had those, even with some videos where we've had a whole lot of views, and then the next day you check that the viewership has actually gone down. So there's a whole lot of censorship that's happening in YouTube.
Yes.
Stuff that you don't really, I'm sure it's in the fine print of their community guidelines and stuff like that, but it's not something that they will tell you about when you start uploading videos on YouTube. You'll just think that your YouTube video is not doing anything well, but that time there's a bot or some artificial intelligence somewhere, or someone, I don't know how it works, that is actually controlling what goes up and what people see on YouTube. So now the first alternative we can speak about is GodTube. Tell me about GodTube.
Yeah, GodTube is, other than YouTube, is probably one of the older ones.
Yeah.
And that was a YouTube specifically for Christians.
Yeah.
So there was a time that I used to use that one quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it's obviously sermons and songs and all sorts of things. Yeah. And I used to search GodTube because you'd find things there that are clean and things like that.
Yeah.
So it was a YouTube for Christians. I'm not sure how well it's going. I'm not sure if you had a look to see.
Well, so when I looked at GodTube, when I looked at the videos through GodTube and stuff like that, it's awesome because it's Christian videos and stuff. But what I found is that there's a whole lot of old things on there. So there aren't really that many new videos and stuff that you find on GodTube. I think it's a great idea to have a channel where Christians can post as much videos as they can and stuff. But it's something that still needs to grow and get out to the public, because for now we just have old videos and things, and that won't really keep people in with GotTube. Yeah, so that is GotTube. And now the next one is brighteon.com. Now, brighteon.com is the alternative video sharing platform that, now I'm reading this from their website. Brighteon.com is alternative video sharing platform we didn't know we needed, especially since YouTube has systematically censored, demonetized, and even banned video channels that don't agree with leftist agenda pushing. Do you want to explain what the leftist agenda pushing is?
You know, we talk about like Julius Malema and communists and all of these sorts of guys. It's basically guys that have those sorts of views. They push socialism, you know, and they push abortion. They push the LGBTQ movement. There's a specific worldview and an agenda that they're pushing. Yeah. And their worldview entitles them in their minds to, you know, to squash the rights of speech of people around them.
Yeah. Okay. Now with brighteon.com, you can view and create content at no cost, all away from the totalitarian thought suppression of the left. You're also part of this fight against disinformation, and they say with each purchase you make from our products, you're helping us sustain this platform and keep the fight against conservative censorship going on. Yeah.
Yes. So there's a guy, Mark Adams, we've spoken about him once or twice because he came out with quite a bit of stuff, you know, relating to the whole pandemic, and so he comes up with a lot of like natural remedies to things and all that kind of stuff. He's got a broadcast that's called the Health Ranger and the Natural something or other, and next thing he got banned off YouTube. So when he got banned, he then created this platform brighteon.com, which then, you know, anyone can go and upload their videos, and obviously they don't censor them. So whoever puts up what, you know, that's how YouTube started. Yeah. Then people, you know, can put whatever they want, and therefore it competes regarding ideas. But you hear both sides of the argument. On YouTube, less and less are hearing both sides of the argument. Yeah.
I was actually watching a video. I was watching a video on YouTube. Was it on YouTube? I'm not really sure. But someone shared a video with me a while ago. And in there, they were basically speaking about the fact that people on these social media platforms with a specific amount of followers are usually controlled by someone else.
Yes.
So you cannot be on social media and have a certain amount of followers and say whatever you want to say. You have to say what this group of people want you to say. So these alternatives are usually created because these people get a whole lot of followers and they are told to say things that they don't believe in and stuff. So they usually go and create or find other channels that they can promote their videos with.
Yes.
A good example is, I think it's Band.video.
Band.video.
Yeah, Band.video.
Band.video.
Yes. If you haven't watched Band.video, I think you should go because they have some interesting videos that you can watch and see. Now, the next one at number 3 is BitChute. Now, BitChute is a video hosting service created in 2017 to allow video uploaders to avoid content rules enforced on YouTube. The platform accommodates far-right individuals and conspiracy theorists. The Southern Poverty Law Center says that the site hosts hate-fueled material. Some creators who have been banned or had their channels barred from receiving advertising revenue demonetized on YouTube use BitChute. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so BitChute, again, it's similar to brighteon.com, and it doesn't censor, so people put their videos up, and BitChute just says we're just a broadcasting mechanism, the town square. You know, basically they're sort of doing now what YouTube sort of started with.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not as advanced as YouTube.
Yeah.
So the videos don't work quite as fast as YouTube. But a lot of things that you can't find on YouTube, you'll find on BitChute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. And your thoughts on the fact that they say it's a place for a hate-fueled material?
No, I mean, it's very easy to blacken someone's name without any facts.
Yeah.
And they say that the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is a leftist publication that pushes for leftist ideals and wants to discredit anyone else, at any possible level. So, so there's no credibility to that. I can easily say, you know what, Cynthia, you push hate-fueled ideologies. You want to kill people for X, Y, and Z reason. You fuel that. Sure. And then, surely you must have said something or done something or written something. And I should have some evidence that that's actually what you're about.
Yeah. And
now I just shoot my mouth off and say it, when meantime maybe that's not what your belief is, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Looking at YouTube and them, they, taking the Christian worldview, they silence Christians, but they don't silence the enemies of Christians.
Yeah.
So they create an artificial imbalance.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And BitChute is a wonderful invention.
Yeah. And
I think it's awesome. And we need more of these platforms so that you can't have one guy, controlling everything, because that's not good for the world.
That's true. Okay, so now since we've been talking, so those are the three: BitChute, GodTube, and BrightEon.com. Those are the three that we know of, and I'm sure there's so many others, but a lot of them are censored. These are three that are not censored, so you can post your own ideas and your own theologies on these platforms. Now, what's happening in America is that social media has taken over. Well, not only in America, all over the world, social media has taken over, and that's where people are finding their information on.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why we've also been doing shows on social media, because social media is lying to us. The media is lying to us. They're not telling us the truth and stuff. Now, President Donald Trump in May actually put out a tweet on the 27th of May, and he said, Republicans feel that social media platforms totally silence conservative voices. We will strongly regulate or close them down before we can ever allow this to happen. We saw what they attempted to do and failed in 2016. We can't let a more sophisticated version of that happen again. Just like we can't let large-scale mail-in ballots take root in our country. It would be a free-for-all on cheating, forgery, and the theft of ballots. Whoever cheated the most would win. Likewise, social media, clean up your act now. And that was a tweet from Donald Trump on the 27th of May.
Yeah, well, look, they've got to do something about it, because the psychologist actually testified before the Senate last year that in the midterms in 2018, because America has 2 elections, so the members of Congress, get elected every 2 years. So every 2 years they have an election, and every second one is the presidential election. Yeah. And they actually had a psychologist who was a Democrat, by the way, saying that using social media, they unwittingly, with people not knowing, they would have moved at least about 1.6 million to about 10 million votes. Sure. That was shifted in the 2018 elections. They're saying it's at least 1.6 million. And that's not acceptable, because that's manipulating the vote to get an outcome that you want, and therefore the people shall not govern.
Sure. You just should check your facts before you actually decide that this is the truth. Yeah. Especially when it's something that is trending on social media.
Yes.
If you went onto Instagram, the trending GIFs, so if you wanted to post an Instagram story and you went into the Giphy option, the trending GIFs was Black Lives Matter, the trending GIFs was Black Queer Lives Matter, the whole Pride movement thing, and that's all that you saw.
Yes.
Social media is manipulating people's thought processes, so it's important that you check your facts and you see what is actually right.
Yes.
And when I mean check your facts, I don't mean that you go onto News 24, then you go onto EWN. They write the exact same things.
Yes.
You actually need to find another media source that has something completely different. It will probably take you quite some time to find it, but you actually need to find another media source that's writing something different and compare what they're saying, and then decide on what your truth is then. But you cannot base everything that you do off of what social media says, because they are manipulating people's thoughts.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful with the social media. They used to be free and fair. They most certainly aren't. And obviously leftists will say, you know what, you're being ridiculous, but now you can go and see some of the things that have been banned. Yeah. Like we spoke about that photo. So it's all right to show George Floyd being murdered for over 8 minutes with a knee to his neck. It's all right to see that. For me, it's quite an upsetting video, that one. But then there's another one with a 20-year-old Hispanic guy beating up an old man who's an Alzheimer's patient. And you put that video up, they take it down like this.
Yeah.
So that's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair reporting. And I think that some people might be doing it on purpose. They're actually creating artificial divisions and ramming it home so that people are going to fight. Because if you can divide up people, you can conquer them.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's basically it. So be careful on what you see or decide on social media.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah. So like I said, this is the Political Show with me, Cynthia, and with Pastor Gavin. We're here to give you the truth behind the politics, because Christian politics is...
Hot politics.
Hot politics.
Amen.
Here's a song by Active Worship called Let It Happen.
chain overcome our stronghold. Holy Spirit, be the flames of fire on us. All we need is you, Holy Spirit. Come and fill us, break every chain, overcome our stronghold. Holy Spirit, be the flames of fire on us. All we need is you, Holy Spirit. Is you, Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, are you ready?
You can stream Reactive's very own The Movement album on Spotify and Apple iTunes. Reactive is a movement.
That was an amazing song by Active Worship. Can I just tell you that Active Worship is one of my favorite bands? They are amazing. And I'm not being biased because I attend the church. I mean it. We were obviously speaking about social media and the sorts of corruption that happens in social media. It's something that we don't really, see. It's not in our faces and stuff, but it is out there. Now, we're going to speak about another sort of corruption, which is also politics. I mean, the day that I can open news, or the month that we are open news and realize, oh my gosh, it's been a month where they have not spoken about corruption. An hour that they've not spoken.
Imagine if we have 1 hour.
Sure.
Where if you're looking on like News 24, there's no imagine 1 hour.
my gosh.
Come on, politicians. 1 hour. That's all we're asking for. One hour.
I'm telling you, the world would be so different.
Yeah.
It will be amazing. Everything would be so bright. But now,
And it will be brighty on
bright for
.com.
eons. But so now we're talking about another case of corruption here in South Africa, and that is now, if you don't know Graaff-Reinet is a place here in South Africa.
Yeah. The Syphons will say Graaff-Reinet.
Yes, Graaff-Reinet. Yes, I can't really say it properly.
Afrikaans are
Yes.
Graaff-Reinet.
Yes, Graaff-Reinet. But so what happened is that in 2018, 30 million rand was given for grant provided for drought relief in Graaff-Reinet. And only 5 million rand was used of it. And then when an audit was done basically in the municipality, they found that 25 million disappeared. It cannot be traced. They don't know what happened to it. Yeah, like I said, it was one of the findings made by the Auditor General in a report on the municipality's finances for the 2018-2019 financial year. Now, I don't know how this works. I mean, in my household, we can trace where all the money has gone to. We know how much was spent on rent. We know how much was spent on the groceries. We know where every single cent went to. And that's just so we know what happens with our money. And at the end of the month, we know whether we have extra money or not. Now, this is a government. And these are people who are going through the worst. It actually says that they are hit by the worst drought they've ever had. And they actually need that money because they do not have water. I mean, that is one of our basic needs as humans. Water.
And you know that the current government put a constitution in place that makes it a constitutional right to get water.
Exactly. So it is our right. It is something that we need to have.
That's what our law says, government.
Yes, but 25 million. I mean, 5 million is not enough.
No.
That is more than 50% of the relief fund that was given to the municipality. Gone. Finished. It's just...
Well, 25 million out of 30 million.
That's everything.
Is gone.
That is literally everything.
They spent a tithe.
Yeah, they did.
A bit more than a tithe. The tithe would have been 3 million.
Yeah,
So well done, guys. You did a bit of offering as well. But where's the rest of the money?
They spent about 12%.
It's less than 20%.
Yeah, about 12%.
No, probably
even.
about 16%
16%
of the money. Which
That's
means
all.
over 80% of the money is gone.
Without a trace. Not even.
How can it be without a trace?
That is.
Sorry, how can it be without a trace? The money must have come into an account somewhere.
Yeah.
It left a government account, went to another account. Now, what do you mean you can't trace it?
Yep.
There must have been an EFT.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't know. This is ridiculous. It's ludicrous. It's an absolute joke. It's an absolute farce. I cannot speak negatively enough about this.
Yeah, I mean...
I know we're supposed to be optimistic, but I can't be optimistic about this. I cannot be optimistic. 25 million rand.
Just disappearing.
Just vanishing.
That is a lot of money.
I mean, that's more than $1 million. It's probably close... it's close to $2 million.
I mean, and this is not the first time something like this is happening. No. And I think it's actually time that our government becomes accountable for what's happening with...
The voters need to hold the government... Come on, voters. You need to hold the government accountable. And it's not just the government because, the EFF is going to want to jump on the bandwagon. We've spoken about them in the whole VBS thing. All of those things that have gone down. And really, unless the voters hold the government accountable and start looking at who they're voting for and what these people do, then, look, I don't know how much more they're going to get away with it because to steal, there's got to be something in the kitty.
Yeah.
And the government's running out of money.
They are. I mean, that 500 billion rand that was thingy in the beginning of lockdown, that also is quite interesting with what's happening with the money and stuff like that. So it's sad to think about the fact that a grant can be put in place for people's well-being in South Africa, but it just disappears without a trace. I mean... Yeah,
and it cannot disappear without a trace.
It can't. It literally
I mean,
cannot.
if you're sitting there with a bank account, you can see, okay, this went to there.
Yeah, and then you ask questions.
Then you say, okay, then you go to who's the owner of that bank account? Okay,
I mean,
why the hell did you get this money?
Yes. So I think they should also look at the auditors. I mean, the auditors should be able to look at
How can they say it disappeared? It can't disappear.
Yeah. I mean, when money goes out of your account, when you pull a bank statement, you can tell that unless it was cash, which is impossible, they wouldn't have given them 30 million rand in cash.
Well, then the bank's got to answer.
Yeah.
But even then, the bank's going to have a signature. Who signed the withdrawal slip? And only signatories can sign. So therefore, the signatories to that account would have to answer for where the money went to.
Yes. So,
I mean, already right there, if you look at the signatories of the accounts that money was in, those people should be going to jail because that is criminal negligence. I mean, if you never stole the money, if you're the signatory to the account and you never stole the money, then it's criminal negligence.
Yeah.
That's number one. But number two, in my view, if you're the signatory to the account and the money went out the account, either you or the bank has to answer where all that money went to.
Yeah.
And if you can't, you go to jail because that's public funds.
Yeah.
That's maladministration of public funds. That is corruption. Corruption is something that there's a jail sentence that's applicable to it.
I mean, there was a case in Congo recently as well where grant money disappeared without a trace. But people actually now took a stand and they held the specific minister to account. And they had the trial didn't take place in the courthouse. The trial took place in public. But obviously they had to put things in a specific way and stuff so that the public doesn't disrupt the trial. But they actually then held the guy to account. And this guy's in jail now because they didn't agree with what he was saying, the witnesses that he brought up. So I think as the public, as the people who voted for the government need to be like, okay, we're taking a stand now. The same way we fought for gender-based violence, the same way we fought for... Now, I'm not saying we should go for riots and all of these things, but actually take a stand and be like, the government needs to answer for these things. We're at a point in our economy where things are just not...
Well, people literally die.
Yes.
I mean, how do we know that people never died? Because this money wasn't spent where it was supposed to have been spent.
Yeah, because places are running dry. Towns are running dry in terms of the water supplies and stuff. And yes, there's organizations like the Gift of Givers. Yes, it's Gift of Givers that are providing water sources. But even they don't have unlimited cash flow. The government actually needs to take accountability for this. If you're part of the government and you're listening to this show, we need to take accountability. Yes. that is my final statement. Yes. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say?
No, just gender-based violence, racism, corruption, all of these things are signs, obviously, of a country that has low morals.
Yeah.
And so people need to get back to the Bible. Someone that operates according to the Bible is not going to steal 25 million rand.
Yeah.
They're not going to steal 25 cents. So, people need to get back to basic morals that come out of the Bible. And until that happens, you're going to have rapes, you're going to have gender-based violence, you're going to have incidents like the George Floyd incident. Until people have a change of heart, this isn't going to change.
Yes, and that is it. We tell it as it is in the political show.
Yes.
Nothing between the lines. We tell it as it is. Like I say, this is a political show right here on Active FM, where radio has never been better.
This is Given Illustrative Masilela. You're listening to Active FM. Christ music is hot music.
In Revelations 22 verse 12 it says, "Look, I am coming soon, bringing my reward with me to repay all people according to their deeds. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end."
Yes, so obviously looking today at our discussions around YouTube and censorship and corruption and destruction and all of these sorts of things.
Yeah.
This comes at the end of the book of Revelation, which talks about the fact that we need to watch ourselves, because we ourselves can be induced into taking 25 million out of 30. I mean, Cynthia, imagine you got 30 million rand and you think you're going to get away with it. You give them 5 million, you can get a couple of water trucks in there, and then you take 25 million. So the thing is, if you do that, you might get away with it. So there's been a lot of guys that have gotten away with a lot of corruption in South Africa, and it's not even just the current government. The apartheid regime, there was a lot of corruption there as well. In fact, some people say the only difference between the apartheid regime and the ANC government is that at least the apartheid regime tried to hide it.
Yeah.
The ANC government doesn't even always try to hide it. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So corruption was endemic there. And the thing is, so the first thing, we've got to look at ourselves. Jesus is coming back. And if we ourselves are guilty of corrupt acts and things like that, he's coming back, and then he's going to judge the world. And when he judges the world, the first question is, did we accept the Lord Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior? And if we did, it means that we've given our lives to him.
Yeah.
It means that we've given him the place whereby he speaks into our lives and he tells us what to do.
Yeah.
It means that we live according to the Bible. We don't live according to just what it is that we want. And so I really want to encourage everyone, we can complain about it when other people are doing wrong, but we've got to start looking at ourselves. We've got to start looking at the state and the content of our own hearts. And we've got to start looking at what we do. And we've got to realize the only way that we're going to change is when we come to the Lord Jesus Christ, we kneel at the cross, we apply the blood of Jesus, we experience the exchange that takes place at the cross. Because if you believe in Jesus, an exchange takes place at the cross. And when that exchange takes place, then what happens is that you become a new creation. And Jesus gives you a new nature. And that's so important. All of us have sinned. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. And therefore, when taking note of that, we need to be saved. And so I really want to encourage you, Jesus is coming back. This is not going to continue forever. And let me tell you something, we will pay for every act of corruption and deception and all of those things that we do. So I really encourage everyone, let's look at the word and let's get in touch and in tune with that.
And that's basically it. You remember, you can catch our awesome shows on our different platforms. We are on www.activefm.co.za. You can also catch us on Google Podcasts and on Apple Podcasts, and we're also on Spotify. So get downloading and get sharing the show out there. And as much as we know that social media has censored us, you can still catch us on social media platforms. We're on Instagram at ActiveFM777. We're on Facebook /ActiveFM, and we're on Twitter at ActiveFM. So get commenting on the posts and let us know what your thoughts are on our different shows. Our shows are really awesome. Can I just tell you, we have amazing shows. So get commenting, get sharing, tell your whole world about ActiveFM, because radio has never been better. And right here on the political show, Christian politics is
Hot politics.
Hot politics. I'm your girl Cynthia, but you know you can call me Gigs. And with me in studio we've got
Gavin.
Pastor Gavin Inslin. Here's a song by Attaboy called Fearless.
Open my eyes, I realize hearing the truth and seeing through the lies. You've been saying for years, all of my fears are nothing but static in my ears. So why, tell me why would I turn back now? Oh, you never let me down. You got me fearless, fearless, feeling like I'm unafraid, like I'm living now. You got me fearless, fearless, feeling like I'm unafraid, feeling like I'm living. Oh, anytime I'm lost in my mind, caught in rewind and feeling paralyzed, you remind me again, living begins wherever these dots come to an end. So why, tell me why would I turn back now? Oh, you never let me down. You got me fearless, fearless, feeling like I'm unafraid, like I'm living now. You got me fearless, fearless, feeling like I'm unafraid, feeling like I'm living. So why, tell me why would I turn back now? Oh, you never let me down. So why, tell me why would I turn back now? Oh, you never let me down. You got me fearless, fearless, feeling like I'm unafraid, like I'm living now. You got me fearless, fearless, feeling like I'm unafraid, feeling like I'm living. You got me fearless, fearless, feeling like I'm unafraid, like I'm living now. You got me fearless, fearless, feeling like I'm unafraid, feeling like I'm
Active FM. Radio has never been better.